And happy birthday to a great president. We know your mom's always with you.
The President of the United States saying happy birthday to Kamala Harris. Anthony Dilio joins us on this episode of Jobob Unlimited, where we're talking about the president's mental acuity. All that coming up right now. Oh, shoot. Hold on. There we go. Right now. I think I hate that intro, but whatever.
Work on it later.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. We're talking about some things the president is doing / and or saying. You just saw there. I'm going to play that one more time. Just get a load of this.
And happy birthday to a great president. We know your mom's always with you.
All right. Happy birthday to the great president. You know your mom's always with you. That's nice. It's Kamala Harris's birthday, I guess, today. That just happened, by the way. So, it's who knows what's going on here. We're going to bring up some other clips, but before we do that, Anthony, you want to introduce yourself, what you're doing here, or what your I don't know, worldview is? That's a lot. Just say hello.
Yeah. Hi. I like to say that my mission is to make America just a little bit fitter, funner, and freer. So we're going to try to do that today.
And freer. I like that.
Isn't that fun? I somehow wrapped up my entire life's mission in 3 words that aren't actually words.
So to kind of, I don't know, we're talking about the president's mental acuity. Rating it from 1 to 10 in terms of presidents and the ability to think, where are you currently?
In terms of presidents? What do you mean by that?
I don't know. In terms of like if the highest functioning presidential brain, whether you agree with the policy or not, is a 10.
Yeah.
Where does old Grandpa Joe fit in that realm?
Well, I think it's easy to say 2, but
yeah,
I feel like this. So here's the question I always have.
Okay.
Because politics is a reality show. Everything is on purpose. Everything you see is scripted. Everything is intentional. There is no, there is no intent. Like, there's no goodness in politics. It is all a show to make you think something.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time believing that our president is actually a brain dead, dementia old guy. It's just hard for me to comprehend that is true. So I'm not saying it's all a joke or like it's all a front and that he's actually brilliant and he's pretending to be a moron. But it's like it's so out of line and out of step with what politics normally is that it doesn't add up to me. So I think that he is either significantly worse than he's being portrayed in the media or significantly better. I think he's a 1 or a 0. I think the man is an actual vegetable, or he's probably like a 6.5 and the media just cranks up on the gaffes that he does have, and we all have them. So
that's a fascinating thought.
Everybody is going to run out and say, oh, he's a 2 or he's a 3. But it's like, well, maybe. He's either actually lost, like he actually doesn't know where he is and is literally at this point, like incapable of living a human life. He needs to around the clock care, and that may be happening. Or I think he's probably a lot better than you think, and he's just a grandpa.
That is fascinating. Now let's watch this clip with that context in mind. Either what you're saying is he's way sharper than he comes off to be, and it's all on purpose, or he's way dumber than even anybody thinks, which I'm more leaning on that side. Check this out. This is the transgender somebody from something that I guess got to meet the president for some reason. Watch this and we'll discuss on the other side.
Do you think states should have a right to ban gender affirming healthcare?
I don't think any state or anybody should have the right to do that. As a moral question and as a legal question. I just think it's wrong.
Okay, so what do you think about that? So do you think then that the president is masquerading as a dumb guy and really actually believes that sort of thing? I know that's not intentionally in line. I thought this was a different clip, so give me your thoughts on that.
So I think it's super weird honestly, and I don't mean that it's like right or wrong. Like I that's not what we're talking about right now. I think it's really interesting to see somebody that old. He's what, 84 now? 81? How old is he?
79.
I don't know. Doesn't
Turns
matter.
80,
In
he
his
turns
80s.
80 this fall.
Okay, so he's 80. It's really weird to see an 80-year-old person who is like pro transgender stuff.
Well, he's
And I
not.
mean weird
That's
in
the
that,
thing, is he's not.
that's what I'm saying. It's like there's no like talk to anyone else in their 80s and they're like, what the hell is that? like and they say really weird like things that even the most conservative younger people are like, whoa, that's kind of weird. Like that's a little old school. But like anyone else, like think about your grandparents, think about all the old people that you know, they're all like, oh, these transgenders are weird. Or they say like weird, like they say almost inappropriate things about it because it's so foreign to them in their so it's
No, we got
weird
you.
seeing so it's weird seeing somebody in their 80s that's like, yeah, I'm pro transgender. Like I don't like be whatever, pro this, whatever you want. It's just weird seeing that from somebody that freaking old.
So I'm going to play this clip. This is the person who asked that question. Newly minted transgender. I think they said, I'm celebrating 220 days as a brand new transgender. And I like what you're saying. Yeah, it's a weird thing to think of people that are that old changing their entire worldview. Because remember people.
Yeah. Joe Biden's a conservative. 9 years ago, Joe Biden was a conservative. Let's not forget about that.
Also, remember, Barack Obama ran his second campaign against gay marriage. That wasn't the entirety of the campaign. That wasn't like the goal of the campaign. But Barack Obama, the most progressive president supposedly in the history of the United States, was against gay marriage, not only through one term, but through 2 terms. So yeah, I think you're right. So, okay, I'm going to play this clip of this trans person who, again, for some reason got to interview the president for some reason. I don't even know how that happened.
On that, he was on that like the Ulta commercial that went south fast. That
Feel free to jump in here because this is like 2 minutes. I don't think we're going to watch the entire thing, but just check this out.
It's day 222 of being a girl. I'm in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to the White House to speak to the President of the United States.
Why? All right, continuing on.
You know that phrase, I fear I may have girl bossed too close to the sun? Well, that's how I feel today because I get to sit down with Joe Biden and now this news, and I get to ask him a few questions surrounding trans issues in the United States. And
pause this for a second.
Okay, all right. Yes, go ahead. I told you to jump in, so go ahead and jump in.
She's doing this in front of a toilet? Like... You could find you're speaking to the world. You're now all of a sudden famous, and you're speaking to the president of the United States from your like what?
All of this aside, that's your issue is where
that's what I mean.
Speaking?
That's what I mean. Like I don't. This is so weird. Like there are so like this is. I have no words other than like it's hard to even. I don't know, man.
Can we continue? I'm going to continue.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue torturing you
really
and all
weird,
the other people watching.
That's a really weird toilet setup. I've never seen one like that.
In terms of, like, is it backed up? Do you think it's
the bathroom layout is very strange?
Do you think that's a shower? Because it's clearly a hotel. Also, wait a minute. Let's dissect this a little bit, right? Look at this. I mean, not that I'm bougie or anything, but this person is going to interview the president of the United States, and it looks like a Motel 6 bathroom.
Right. That's what I'm saying. This is weird.
All right, I'm going to continue on and continue torturing people. Also, if you're watching this, quick little thing, if you wouldn't mind clicking the little like button and the little share button that is under Anthony right now, would appreciate you doing so. And also, I don't know, letting us know in the comment section what you think about this. It seems a little ridiculous, but I don't know, maybe we're just ridiculous and this is totally normal. So let us know in the comment section what you think. Anyways, continuing to roll on with the trans person who, what'd you say, day 222 of being a woman?
my transness, and I really just want to represent my community the best that I can. And you know what? As silly as I am on here, I'm ready to step up and show that trans people, we're not going anywhere. And that trans kids, they deserve a fighting chance to be their true selves. Okay? Oh my God, I'm running late. Let's go. And y'all are obviously wondering what I'm gonna wear to meet the president. Here you go. It's the trans flag colors. Cute, right?
That makeup transformation was nuts. Did you see that?
No, this is not the things that I'm paying attention to. Why are you paying attention to that?
Even if this was a real girl, that would be like shocking. I'd be like, what the?
How are these the things that you're noticing? I'm sitting here talking about policy because this person then asked the president of the United States. We watched the clip at the very beginning of this.
Do you think the president of the United States has any freaking clue about policy on this? He's asking the same questions we are.
He probably left the room was like, that was a guy? What?
That's what I mean. It's so weird seeing somebody who's 80 years old be like, yeah, let's bring in the transgender person. Which I have nothing against. Like, be whatever you want to be. It's like I don't think there's really anybody that thinks you can't pretend to be a woman. I don't care. Pretend whatever be. You can pretend to be a squirrel if you want. Doesn't matter.
That's squirrel is where I draw the line.
It's just weird seeing somebody in their 80s who thinks that, because people in their 80s like to put people in boxes. You know, I don't know. That's how the world used to be. So
we're gonna give this another like 30 seconds and see where it goes from here. And I don't know if we're gonna make it.
So heels? Okay, Dylan, you're gonna be great. I love you. Let's go.
Wait, Dylan?
Come on. Do you think I just knock on the front door? Let's go.
Looking for the president's dog.
Our queen. Love you. I love you. We're about to go. Is there anything in my teeth?
Leaving on cloud 9.
The president of the United States gave me a cookie. He gave me a cookie in the Oval Office. Now here's the question. Do I eat it or do I save it? It has a seal. Please, honestly, tell me. Everyone, I got to pet the dog. I got to pet his dog. I'm still in shock, and don't be mad, but I don't get to post any of the footage until after the interview airs on Sunday night, but it's going to be worth it because I can't wait for you to hear everything that we talked about. I left with a lot of hope and optimism, not only for just trans people, but many different topics. And
okay, all right, so I'm going to stop it there. Do you have any other commentary? Because I've got some things to say, and I do want to now go back to that initial video that we saw of the president and what he thinks should be policy at the federal level.
Let's do that. We've made enough jokes for now.
Okay. All right. So hold on. Let me play. Okay. So I'm going to go back and play this original thing that we had seen. Shoot. There we go. Asking this question with that in context. Now let's go to the actual question that was posed again to the leader of the free world.
do you think states should have a right to ban gender affirming healthcare?
Pause really quick. We're all familiar with what quote unquote gender affirming healthcare is. It's giving puberty blockers and hormones to children and carving them up to make them appeased with their gender dysphoria. So there's that. Any other comments?
Yes, but it's another rabbit hole. Remind me later.
Okay.
I don't think any state or anybody should have the right to do that. As a moral question and as a legal question. I just think it's wrong.
Okay, what he said something there that I thought was fascinating. He said it's a moral question, which again, I agree with you. I don't think he actually believes that. I think 80-year-olds are just pandering. There's no shot in hell that an 80-year-old man has changed his entire worldview because
in the last 9 years.
that's just not realistic. But then he says from a legal standpoint. So what you're saying, okay, this I heard this somewhere else and I'm going to miscategorize it probably. But what you're then saying is that if a minor was touched inappropriately by an adult, that adult would go to jail, which deservedly so. That's not okay. You shouldn't allow that sort of thing. It's disgusting. However, if the child said, well, I feel like I'm the opposite gender now, and then the school teacher sent them to the doctors without telling the kids in some places, especially including like Canada, and the doctor then not only touched their private parts, but cut them up, they would be seen as a hero. How is this not more obvious and blatant to other people? Am I crazy?
Dude, so this is what I was going to say earlier of like, in a similar vein, can you get treatment for gender dysphoria now?
What do you mean?
Let's say
you can't.
So let's say you are, and this is where the whole entire trans argument for me completely breaks down because it's a logical fallacy. Like here's what happens. So if you are, let's say you are a man, but you feel like a woman, but you don't want to feel like a woman. You want to feel like a man, that you want to feel like the sex, the gender that you were born as.
Mm-hmm.
Is my understanding that you cannot go get treatment for that, which is just as bigoted as somebody who can't get treatment to become a different sex.
That's a fantastic point. Because you're right. Like therapists nowadays, especially in places like California where we both live, are not allowed. So the only thing they're allowed to do when people come in and say, I am a transgender, they're not allowed to say, are you sure about that? Do we want to like unpack some trauma that could be impacting this decision?
Right.
No, the only thing they're allowed to say is, how can we help you in your transition? That's a fantastic point.
Right. But I think probably there's a lot of people out there that are uncomfortable feeling the way that they feel. And that would actually be a normal thing because it's like, it is normal for humans to be abnormal or disordered. Like,
yeah,
a certain percentage of humans are always going to have a disorder of some kind, whether it be this or something else. So it's like somebody who goes in and says, hey, I'm a man, I feel like a woman. That's weird. I don't like it. I don't want to feel like a woman. I want to feel like a man. That person cannot get help.
I'm sorry. I was listening, but I was also reading comments, and Christopher said he only gave you a cookie because he thought you were a little girl. Oh, that's funny. I mean, it's not funny at all, or I'm not at all making a joke out of this very serious issue, Christopher.
This is also great. Thank you, Denton.
Are you pulling up comments too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that you could do that.
Denton is wondering if this person sits or stands, which I don't know.
Okay. Hold on. So I got this other clip that I feel like is interesting. This is a longer version of some of the questions that the newly minted woman was asking the president of the United States. This is like a minute 30-ish. I'm actually curious. I don't think I haven't seen this one. I've only seen the little clips of this because guess what? I didn't watch this in real time. So check this out. Also, if you haven't already, would appreciate you clicking the little like button that's like should be like right down here, especially if you're watching on Facebook, also YouTube, and the little share button that's right down there-ish. Really, really does help us out. Keeps us doing what we're doing, especially with this kind of format. I think this is kind of fun. There's no real rules here, and I'm just bringing on friends to jabber about the things in the news. Anyways, without further ado, check this out.
And it feels like Republicans have turned trans and non-binary people into this thing to blame society's downfall on in some ways. And this narrative is not only dangerous to our mental health, but also our physical safety. And particularly trans women of color are being murdered at an alarming rate.
More than any other group of people.
Thank you. How can Democratic leaders be more effective in advocating for us trans people and our families and our lives and our opportunities?
I'm not being facetious when I say this, being seen with people like you. I mean it. I genuinely mean it. People fear what they don't know. They fear what they don't know. And when individuals realize, oh, this is what they're telling me to be frightened of. This is the problem. People change their minds. People just don't know enough to know. And it's not because of intellectual incapability, it's just lack of exposure. And I think that it's really important that we continue to speak out about the basic fundamental rights of all human beings. And the idea that what's going on, in some states, I won't get into the politics of it, but in some states, it's outrageous, and I think it's immoral. The trans part's not immoral. What they're trying to do to trans persons is immoral.
Okay, so can I say something really quick? I was actually somewhat impressed, not by his answer, but by his ability to complete that answer and sound like a normal person.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. That just seemed like
Here's the thing, though. It's like no amount of exposure to cutting breasts off of 11-year-old girls, or like no amount of exposure to that will make me think it's normal.
yeah.
And that's basically
probably.
his argument there. Is basically, well, you'll get used to it. It's like,
Yeah.
no, we won't. Like, no,
Yeah,
we
seriously.
won't.
Yeah,
I might
no, we
get
won't a
used.
lot.
I might get used to seeing men dressed up as women and walking around, which honestly I have no problem with. You can wear whatever the hell you want, put on makeup. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
But there is a hard line at I think at minors and doing permanently altering things to people that
Well, that's the other thing,
for kids that can't decide if they want a tattoo or not. Like, you can't
Well,
get
that's
a
the other-
tattoo, but you can cut your wiener off. Like, get out of here.
That's the other thing too, is the oh no, I lost my train of thought. What were you talking about? You're talking about being normalized.
I said
all
wiener.
that
That's
sort
probably where you lost your train of thought, huh?
of- So this is from the Post Millennial. They said progressive media platform Now This staged a presidential forum with Joe Biden at the White House, where trans TikTok sensation Dylan Mulvaney, who still goes by Dylan, I guess. Like, I don't
I
quite.
feel like there's other girls named Dylan, isn't there?
I don't. Yeah, maybe there are female Dylans. I think I'm wholly unaware of them, but maybe I don't know. But the bottom line is this: the headline here.
I would have
Post
gone with
Millennial,
something. I would have gone
more ladylike.
Yeah.
The
If I was a new
Biden
lady.
pledges support for gender affirming care and trans kid in interview with bimbo TikToker. I don't know who used the word bimbo, but anyways, yeah, that seems interesting. Like, from a policy perspective, like, is that something that's gonna like take a foothold? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Seems kind of aggressive. So since I feel like there's a couple different things too that I would like to bring on here. Oh, okay. Shoot. All right. Have you seen this video? Because the whole premise of this little segment was whether or not Joe Biden is cognitively able to function, and it doesn't seem like it in a lot of different ways. But have you seen this particular clip, which I thought was just mind-boggling? He appears to fall asleep in an interview on MSNBC, like mid-answer. I'm like, I'm not kidding.
I've fallen asleep watching MSNBC too, but
True,
but not on it. Let's see it.
So, okay. First of all, sorry, really quick, and I'll make this point brief. Isn't it weird that he did the Super Bowl halftime interview with Lester Holt and then goes 7 months without doing a real media interview, and then all of a sudden he's like on 60 Minutes, then he does an interview with Jake Tapper, now he's on MSNBC, and he does a forum with Now This, all within like 2 weeks? Like, isn't that weird?
No, the election's in a month. Like,
Yeah, but
election's
it's not
in 3 weeks.
good. But it's not good for his party for him to be out there saying that.
I would agree with you there. The best campaign for Democrats right now is for him to shut up.
Is
Like,
Joe
without a
Biden
doubt.
shut the hell up? Like, we're trying to win elections here. That's what Democrats
That's how
should
he
be
won
saying.
this election. Is he hid in a bunker for 6 months before the election?
So I don't know. I just think it's weird. Anyways, watch this. This is like 14 seconds, and let me know what you think, both here and also in the comment section. Does he actually fall asleep? The MSNBC reporter goes up. Watch this.
Mr. President.
Dr. Biden thinks that, my wife thinks that,
We're gonna play this through one more time too.
that we're doing something very important.
Mr. President.
Dr.
What is this? Is this asleep? Mr. President. Okay. So too, I also feel like, dang it, I should have found a different video. This video specifically, he was asking, do you plan to run in 2024? And Joe Biden said, yes, absolutely. Then he asked, how does Joe Biden feel about it? And he just stopped for like a long period of time. And that's why the MSNBC reporter said, Mr. President, are you awake still? That's what happened. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think happened there?
I think that's old guy stuff. Honestly, I don't think he felt. I mean, I guess falling asleep in an interview would be old guy stuff, but
Okay.
I don't
So
know.
that's. Oh, do you want to see the whole clip?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Check this.
Dr. Biden is for it. Mr. President. Oh,
Dr.
That's what it
Biden
was.
thinks
Listen to this.
I have not made
It is
that
weirder
final
when you see the
decision,
whole
but it's my
pause.
intention. My intention to run again. And we have time to make that decision.
Dr. Biden is for it. Mr. President. Oh,
Dr. Biden thinks that
That's so weird, man.
So he's
That's
not
so
running again.
weird.
Like he is saying to the world that he's not running again.
Well, everybody knows that. Like I
Well, I know, but it's like it's crazy to hear him say it. I've never heard a president say that. Like,
yeah, willingly giving up power like that is
Yeah.
not something new or not something that people generally do.
that's gonna be super weird, right? Like the next,
Yeah.
because nobody's gonna think about it for like another year. But then the last year of his presidency, when the whole world knows that he's not running again, it's kind of like
So
it's like if your teacher in high school is leaving at the end of the first semester, and you're like, so we just do whatever we want here. We're getting a new teacher in 2 weeks, like chaos, right? Like I would imagine just nobody's gonna like he's gonna disappear from the face of the earth for the last year of his presidency. No, like no news network's gonna have him on. No, you're gonna hear nothing from him for the last year, right?
I would imagine, yeah. I think I think too the other sorry, I'm looking for something. The other component is like I think a bunch of the Washington D.C. insiders, which I hate using that term. Also, Ryan had a funny comment while you were talking. Run, he can barely walk. No, seriously, that's funny. But a bunch of the Washington insiders are saying that the day after, like the first couple days after the midterm elections are over, people are going to be out and proud about not wanting Joe Biden to run again, which it's crazy that it's taken this long. But that would seem to be the case.
When is the day? It has to, so I guess it has to be January because it's the 2 years and one. It's the halfway point plus 1 day of his presidency that theoretically Harris can take over and still run. Again,
oh, you're right.
Like,
yeah. So if
like,
he resigns 2 years and a day into his term, then Kamala Harris can take over, run for re-election, and then
because you can
re-election
serve
again.
You can serve 10 years, but you can only be elected to 2 terms.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. Well, 9 years and 364 days.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know. That's pretty wild. I would be for that because I want Kamala Harris to run for president.
Seriously.
Oh yeah, Kamala Harris. If you're watching, first of all, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate the views. Second, please run for president, Kamala. I would love nothing more than to see Kamala Harris run for president of the United States, as she will lose 48 states. She'll probably win California and New York because California and New York are crazy. But other than that, she will lose every single state in a landslide victory for literally anyone. If
who wouldn't beat Harris?
That's a good question. What Republican
would Kevin Spacey beat Harris? I don't think so.
Oh, it doesn't even necessarily need to be Republicans. I think so. I think Kevin Spacey would beat Kamala Harris because people don't like Kamala Harris because she's just that bad.
Yeah, people don't like Kevin Spacey because of like what he's done / accused of doing. I don't know if it's actually been confirmed. So allegedly, I don't know. But Harris is just unpleasant. And that seems to be way more important to the American people.
That seems to be the case. I wanted to get there's another clip from that MSNBC interview that I'm looking for right now on Twitter, and I can't find it because it was Joe Biden saying that Kamala Harris is doing great and she has a 60% approval rating, which is not true at all. Like a lot. Like I think Kamala Harris is even lower than him.
Could 60% of Americans name who the vice president is? Like, could they?
Oh, that's a good question.
Probably not.
I'm Googling that. Americans can name the vice president. Can name the current vice president.
I bet
Pew
it's
Research
half.
Center. Pew Research Center says that in 1989, 74% of the public was able to identify Dan Quayle as the vice president. So that's,
yeah, but that was 1970. Like it's different now. There's
This is
no
an
way it's
article
more
from-
than half. This is before Instagram. This is before Netflix. Like people watched the news, and
this is an
yeah,
article from 2007.
yeah. See, that was before iPhones. Everybody knew who the president was when you're still reading a newspaper.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know where to find a more recent article. Let's see. I'm gonna. There's one more. Let's find one more thing testing the president's mental acuity. Ooh, all of these are. Oh, geez. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Here it is. This I don't know what this is or where he is, but this appears to be the president wandering off in a different direction. Not entirely sure where he's going. Watch this.
Thank you, guys. Mr. Haney? You can go that way. Do whatever you want. I noticed how much.
Classic old guy joke right there.
Yikes. I don't know what's happening there in your.
How old is Jill Biden?
She's way younger. Jill, let's get an age on her.
She looks like she's like in her 50s or like early or maybe early 60s.
She is 71. Wow, looks pretty good
She
for
looks
71.
good. She looks good for 71. Good for her.
But she's 8 years younger than him, and I think there's some
That's
like
not
story
big deal.
floating around that they met when she was like 16 and he was like 25.
Yeah, but
Or like. Sorry, you cut out right there.
I had a great joke and then it cut out. I said, yeah, but in the 1930s, that wasn't a big deal.
Joe Biden was old enough to vote for JFK. Let that one sink in. To vote for John F. Kennedy. In the 60s, he was old enough. What year was he born? Hold on.
Jeez.
Joe Biden was born in 1942, so the tail end of World War II. What else happened there? He would have been old enough to be an astronaut in the moon landing.
That's hilarious.
Let me see. All right, I think that probably just about does it here. I think we've beat this horse pretty dang dead. Dang, there's some Obama stuff too. So it's also kind of funny too, just in terms of like trying to win an election with this particular president. He did shoot. Let me see if I can find this last clip and abortion, because he said two different things in this that I thought were fascinating, and we can discuss because I feel like it's interesting. I'm not going to be able to find it. Watch. Basically, he's in front of a helicopter saying, he's leaving or whatever. Oh, here it is. Oh, shoot. They cut off the part that I wanted it to see. Bottom line is Joe Biden was asked like, hey, how come you're not campaigning for people? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm campaigning for a bunch of people. And he's like, I campaigned for 15 different races, and they just let it go. But I'm sitting here thinking, okay, there's 36 gubernatorial races, 34 Senate races, 435 House races. There's 500 federal / gubernatorial races out there. And he's bragging about campaigning for 6 of them. When is the last time the president of the United States wasn't out there every single evening campaigning for their party?
I just wish they would have asked him which ones.
Oh, jeez.
like, which ones?
Oh, jeez, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes
We'll
no
try to
sense
find
to me that like.
Here it is. I found it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Everybody calm down. I found it. Check it out.
John Fetterman's going to appear with you today in Pennsylvania. There haven't been that many candidates campaigning with you. Why are more?
That's not true. There's been 15. Count.
Okay, and are there going to be even more?
Yeah.
That's not true. There's been 15.
It's not true.
Okay, there's 500 races that you should be involved in. Why are there only 15?
Look, I don't know how you would prevent it, so it has to, I guess, be legal. But it's like, how can the president be allowed to campaign? That makes no. We hired him to do a job. Why is he campaigning? Like,
so
huh?
here's my controversial. I think I said this on Tim Pool's podcast, or at least
This is why I am against anything with 2 terms. Everything should be one and done.
So
because you spend the whole time campaigning.
This is it. So this was my controversial hot take. What if the presidency was 1 6-year term? What's the downside of that? Because then they can campaign for other people, but like running for president while being president is a huge hack, regardless of which side the presidency is.
Well, and just historically, it's hard to lose when you're the current president. It doesn't happen very often. Partly because you have an unlimited, you get to use taxpayer money to campaign.
I think there's a trade-off where you can't technically, like, I think if you're going to a campaign event, there's something that the campaign has to pay for, like the bill of Air Force One. But at the same time, if you're the president of the United States,
but you just make an official president event next door. Like that's what they do.
Yeah, that's
like,
that's
the
workaround.
Like, yeah.
And then too, getting off the plane to a crowd of people is pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan says 1-year term with 10 term limits.
So here's actually this goes down a whole different rabbit hole. I think you could fix the entire American government very, very easily.
Oh, here we go. We're going to fix the entire government.
All federal elected officials.
Mm-hmm.
You get 1 term.
Okay.
It's 6 years.
Okay. Even in the House?
Sure. I don't care. Or whatever. You can pick the number of years. I don't really care.
Everybody. It's City Council, Water Board, Municipal District, all get 6 terms. Is that what you're saying? 6 years.
No. 6. I don't care about the number of years. Here's the important part.
Okay.
It pays minimum $10 million.
Oh, so you're going the route of pay politicians way more as opposed to...
Right. So CEO, the most capable people in this country make millions of dollars per year.
Yes.
Millions.
So they have no interest in running for political office.
It's especially with inflation now, it's like the 186,000 or whatever they make is like middle class.
Here's can I tell you why? Oh, you want to finish your thought? Because I feel like I can push.
We have to and then hold on, and then check this out. So you do that. Okay. You have Congress. They make $10 million for a whatever term, life-changing money, and enough money that people who are very successful doing what they do in the community. Some guy owns a plumbing company with 50 employees and makes $2 million a year. He's like, nope, still a good idea for me to go to Washington. It has to be enough money to draw people out of $1 million, $2 million, $5 million a year opportunities in their hometown and say, I'm going to make more money and do more good in Washington, D.C. And then check this out.
Okay.
We get rid of governors. No governors of any kind.
What?
And listen to me. Then, because states hire CEOs. Why would we elect
governorship? You just call it a different thing.
No. It's not. No, because listen to this. Why would we elect a governor when we could have a CEO hired by, say, the state legislature? The CEO gets a minimum $5 million a year salary with benchmarks that they can make $100 million. Like California, the city of Los Angeles is going to spend billions, literally billions, trying to solve the homeless population problem in Los Angeles. What if we hired the Pepsi CEO, or what if we hired Jeff Bezos or whoever the most high performing CEO and said, hey, you get $5 million to show up and $200 million a year if you can solve the homeless problem in California. We would get the best applicants on earth and they would come in and do it. They'd come in and do it in 2 years. Homelessness will be gone. It'll be a thing of the past because you get the best, brightest, the most high performing people on earth to come and be the governor of California and turn it around.
Anybody in the comment section have any thoughts on this? Because I'm curious what you guys think. Okay, so going back to the previous point about federal elections and congressmen / senator / the president have one term and they get a bajillion dollars.
This is great. Laura says Trump didn't even take a salary, which he didn't. And I think we all thought that was cool. I think that's a huge negative. It means he didn't really care because he has no incentives. He's already rich. He's doing it for the good, like the good of the American people, which he can then twist around however he wants it. So you want people with massive incentive to do well. And currently politicians have zero incentive to do anything good for the country.
Okay. Let me push back before you go on your. I got to noodle that through in my head, but my initial response would be that wouldn't change the type of person that runs for political office because you still have to get. No. Hold on. You still have to get elected. Having worked with a bunch of politicians and politician type people, the type of person that runs is a narcissistic, crazy person. And I don't think that raising the stakes of having like a CEO of a company specifically weeds out those narcissistic, crazy people. I still think narcissistic, crazy people will still run for political office.
That's who we want, though. We want narcissistic, crazy people who are good at what they do. We're currently electing narcissistic, crazy people who aren't any good. Elon Musk is a narcissistic, crazy person. So is Jeff Bezos. So is Bill Gates.
I wouldn't say they would never want that kind of pressure is the thing. I don't think either. Like none of them would.
Elon Musk is going to Mars, dude. There's no bigger pressure than that. They all do this.
Yeah, but
Jeff Bezos said in 2001, we're going to sell everything. And you're like, what are you talking about? We're going to be the everything store. Like, come on.
But that's a different type of political pressure, and the pressure of the public opinion is very, very different than like.
Here's the thing, though. That's what I'm saying. If you hired CEOs, there would be no public opinion. They wouldn't care because you would lay out, hey, we need to get rid of homelessness. It sounds like it's a dictatorship.
It sounds like you're saying the state legislatures need to have.
Yes, hire a dictator and then they can fire. No, listen. No, listen to me, because it's like they are literally a CEO. A CEO is not particularly concerned with like what the public thinks their opinion of them. They're trying to create a great product. So it's like we don't need politicians that want to be superstars and rock stars. We need politicians that can end the homeless crisis. They can get opioids out of here. They can close the border.
But here's another problem that I feel like in thinking about this for a couple seconds. I feel like the problem you would have is the same problem you have with CEOs today, is that they inflate the metrics that they want inflated at the detriment of all of the other things. Like CEOs nowadays aren't necessarily looking for the long-term health of their company. Instead, they're looking to what in the 5 years that I'm going to be the CEO of this company, what's going to be the best thing that bumps up my profits to a point where I make a ton of money when I move. I just don't think the incentives are there. Like, I don't think a monetary incentive makes for a good person trying to do a good job. I just don't. I'm not buying it.
But I guess that's what I'm saying is like, right now, there's monetary incentive for them, and it has nothing to do with how good of a job they do. It's how popular they are. And so it's like if you could instead incentivize money to how good of how well are you going to secure the border? How well are you going to get rid of homelessness? How well are you going to solve the opioid crisis? We'll pay you if you can do that. Right now it's like we'll pay you. We'll pay you, but through all this other crap that's like probably not legal, like if you can be the most liked. And it's like, well, that doesn't do anything for the country.
The other huge problem with this is that it's contingent on people paying attention to what's happening, which I don't think that's, I think the bigger outlier is that
that's what I think the other problem is that people aren't paying attention. So we need to stop electing governors. We need to elect people who will pick a CEO and just handle it.
You're sounding like a crazy person.
It's literally what we do. It's like we don't vote on like amendments to the Constitution. We vote on people who will vote on it. So it's like, so why don't we do that in our states?
It's a republic. You're effectively doing the same thing.
Right. And it's like, the point is like, get better people in charge.
I just don't think monetary. I don't think there is a way to get better people in charge with the way the system is set up. I don't know.
That's my point. I think you have to change the way the system is set up. And I think you have to somehow figure out how to get high performing people into like the positions of power rather than low performing people.
Human nature seems like that would be very, very difficult to do, but I'll noodle it through.
But it'd be very easy to align human nature to get people who are high performing to want to do those jobs well. It's like any other job. It's like any other, like it's why CEOs are hired to do what they want to, like to run companies. It's like, well, companies aren't that different than governments, really.
What you're sounding, it sounds like is turning into a dictatorship. And at the risk of talking into circle, I have to be on Newsmax in like 8 minutes. So I got to get going and ending this thing. But thanks for coming on. This is an inaugural episode of Jobob Unlimited. Well, not really. Kind of, I don't know. We're going to try and do these more often. Anthony's our kind of guinea pig, and we'll probably be around for this foreseeable future doing different things. Tomorrow, we're not doing one of these, but Wednesday we got another a couple interesting guests coming up throughout the week, and I don't know, kind of a recurring thing. I'm not interviewing people, by the way. Sorry, Anthony, that you're sitting through this, but the goal of this is not necessarily to interview people. It's to go through the daily news and talk about things. I don't know, in a different way. Anyways, that's it. Any last words? Where can people find you on the internet?
Just at Anthony Dilio.
How do you spell that?
However you want. I'm just kidding. Dilio. What's the dealio?
Nice. All right. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. We got a pretty good amount of
people hate me in these comments. I love it.
Yeah, they don't like you in the comments. It's because some of it's I got to noodle it through because I don't know. Seems a little outlandish.
I'm saying it works in the private sector. It would probably work in the public one.
Well, the problem is the public sector is not the private sector. I got to get going. If you're watching, if you have Newsmax, tune in to Jen Pellegrino's show. What is it? Prime News. I don't know, in like 30 minutes or something. We're talking about Gavin Newsom. Should be a great time. Until then, thank you, Anthony. Thank you, viewers. Click the little like button and the little share button. Really appreciate you doing so. We will see you next time. God bless America.